Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Cohen. I am the Director of Bookkeeping at Luna Cohen and Lampert. Most of you probably already know me. We've probably emailed or probably a lot of emails from me with reports and whatnot. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the QBO stuff, especially those of you that are using invoicing on QBO. There's a certain way that I think going forward that we should be doing things so that when sales and deposits come through, we can match those transactions to your invoices. So I've got some screen sharing here set up with our sample company, and you'll see that we have a bunch of invoices here. So this is something that you guys are already doing. You're creating invoices, you're accepting the payments, and that's all great. So you'll see I have a few open invoices here. And so let's say that I just got paid from Film Giant LLC, and I'll go and I'll receive payment. I'll say yes. Now, an important thing to do here is, and I'm finding a lot of you are doing this, is you are sending this deposit to whatever bank account, your checking account, your business checking account, whatever it is. That is not what you want to be doing when you're accepting a payment this way. What you want to be doing is sending this to undeposited funds, because these funds have not yet hit your account. You may have gotten a check that is sitting there, and you say, great, I'm going to get to the bank on Friday, so we've been paid but it hasn't been deposited into the bank account yet. So we don't want it to show in our bank account, and what we do is we put that to undeposited funds. Say we've been paid, we know we've been paid, we have a check, or we have a wire transfer statement that says, hey, we've sent the wire transfer through, it'll be there in 2 to 3 days or whatever it may be. But we don't physically have the money. It hasn't been hit our account yet. So what we do is we want to put it to undeposited funds. Otherwise, what's going to happen is it's going to put that money into your QuickBooks account. So you know that there's your bank account number, the money that's actually in your bank account. QuickBooks draws that from the bank connection, and what the money that's in QuickBooks. So we always want those numbers to match. And this is what will throw that way out of whack, because now QuickBooks is saying, okay, we've recorded this payment, it's recorded to this account, so let's put the money there. And then what happens is that when you go and you actually deposit the check, it's going to double track that. So all of a sudden there's going to be another $10,000 that comes into your QuickBooks for that account, and all of a sudden you're $10,000 off. So this is why we put it to undeposited funds, and what we'll do is we will hit save and close, and we have accepted that payment, and you'll notice that it says paid and not deposited. So we know that we've been paid, we have a check, we have a wire transfer note that says we're going to get paid, but it hasn't been deposited yet, it has not hit our account. And so let's also say that we've been paid by Big Records. We have an invoice open here. Let's receive payment. Let's receive payment for this. Again, it's going to undeposited funds, and we'll click save and close. So now let's say I have two checks here. They're sitting from Film Giant and Big Records. I'm going to go and deposit these at the same time. The problem that we then run into is that the bank deposit does not match these invoices. So if a bank deposit is for the same amount as an invoice, oftentimes it will match automatically. It'll say, hey, you've received $10,000. Hey, there's an open invoice for $10,000. Boom, that's probably this. Great. But what happens a lot of times is you get multiple checks, you get multiple wire transfers, or one company decides, I'm going to pay off 3 or 4 invoices. So here's, $50,000 to, and that pays off, invoice 1010, 1011, and 1012. When that comes through, it doesn't match any of the invoices. We don't know on the bookkeeping end what invoices those are supposed to go to. So how we alleviate this is by doing the bank deposit function. So you'll see if you go to new bank deposit, and you'll see that my 2 invoices are already listed here. So if I know, okay, I have 2 checks here and I'm going to the bank on Friday, and therefore these 2 invoices, I'm gonna click off these 2, say boom, there's a deposit for $12,300 that's gonna come through, and I'll click save and close. We've tracked that bank deposit. When that comes through QBO that as being deposited, it will automatically match and say, oh, I know that this bank deposit is paying for these 2 invoices, and I will automatically match it to those 2 invoices. So something that I think most of you should be doing, you should be recording bank deposits, especially if we're the ones that are recording your deposits and your sales. I know that there are some of you that are handling the deposits now and doing that on your own and going in and matching, individual transactions to invoices. But if you'd like us to take over those responsibilities again, we can go about doing it this way, and it will just make everybody's life easier. You're not double tracking deposits, and everything will just be smooth and in balance, which is what we want. So just remember the important things, making sure that when we're accepting payment for an invoice, that we're putting it to undeposited funds and not to the bank account, so that we're not double booking transactions coming through and deposits coming through. And to create that bank deposit and marking off what invoices we know are getting paid for that deposit, so that QuickBooks will automatically on our end connect those to those specific invoices. So thanks for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, email Michael, email Natalie, email Mark. We'll all have answers for you. Thank you.